Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, respectmyregion.com. We're back on another episode of the Respect My Region Breakdown. This is brought to you guys by RMR Game Day and Happy Seltzer and Triple Seltzer. Be sure to visit livehappy.com and drinktriple.com. You guys can use code respectmyregion20 at livehappy.com for free shipping and 20% off. Be sure to tap in and go support them. Now, folks, we've got a very special episode today. It's an exciting time to be a fan in the NFL. It's even more exciting to be a fan of the NBA. The WNBA season just ended. Big shout out to the Aces for the dub, for their sweep in the WNBA Finals over the Minnesota Lynx. And of course, UFC is back this week in Vancouver, British Columbia. So we're going to touch base a little bit on the NFL. We're going to touch base a little bit about the MLB and the pennant race. The Dodgers clinched the ALCS. They are headed to the World Series again, back-to-back. And then we have the Mariners versus the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 7 of the ALCS tonight. It is an exciting time to be a baseball fan. This Tuesday, we've got the NBA tipping off. There's some great news going on. So we're going to go through some of the stories here today. Brought to you guys by Drink Triple and Live Happy. Big shout out to our partners for helping us do these episodes. Now, folks, first things first, we are going to touch base heavily on the Chiefs' 31-0 shutout on the Raiders. Before we get into that, I want to read through the scores of the different games. All right. Now, here, let's get right into it. NFL Week 7, scores and headlines. I'm Joey J. Ping, and this segment is brought to you guys by livehappy.com, our premier partner for all things hemp, THC, seltzers. Be sure to tap in livehappy.com, use code RESPECTMyRegion20 for free shipping and 20% off. Now, the games. Let's get right into it. Cue the music. Broncos 33, Giants 32. Denver storms back from a 19-0 deficit. Lutz, the Broncos kicker, 39-yard walk-off field goal to win the game. Super Bowl champion of last year's season, Eagles 28, Vikings 22. Jalen Hurts 326 yards, 3 tuds. Minnesota was 0 for 4 in the red zone. Now, guys, the Rams flew all the way over to London to play the Jaguars. And Matt Stafford, the quarterback of the Rams, the LA Rams, threw 5 touchdown passes. Devontae Adams, former Raiders, Hall of Famer from the Green Bay Packers, had 3 touchdown grabs. And the Rams absolutely dominated the Jaguars and the first overall pick, Travis Hunter. Cowboys of Dallas, Commanders of Washington. What a game. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys 44. Commanders 22. Prescott had his 4th straight game of 3+ touchdowns. CD Lamb has 110 yards in his return. It was a hell of a game. Now, this was a big surprise for me, folks. Browns 31, Dolphins 6. Rookie Judkins had 3 tuds. Cleveland also forced 3 turnovers. We cannot forget that the Browns are not the same bad franchise they've always been. Now, they might make some boneheaded decisions still. The whole quarterbacks and Flacco and Shador and this Dylan Gabriel guy. Who knows what's going on and what's going to make sense. But as we all know, they were not that bad in the last couple of years. And they had a top-ranked defense at one point. And so it's just something to watch. The Panthers 13, the Jets 6. What a boring game. Jets still have no first-half touchdowns all season. They also allowed 6 sacks, and their quarterback, Justin Fields, got hurt. We saw him going into the tent. Colts, arguably the team of the year in the NFL, the surprise of the year, one of the top storylines. Daniel Jones, meme god, meaning he was the guy getting memed, being made fun of, considered a joke. His career was a wash. So many negative things. When he was up in the Giants, and now that he's with the Colts, he's got them at 6-1, and they are the best team in the NFL at this exact moment. That's not called the Chiefs and not called the Eagles. Colts 38, Chargers 24. Jonathan Taylor of the Colts, 3 rushing touchdowns. In the offense is really rolling. Daniel Jones really did his thing as well. He's just back there slanging dimes, and it's crazy to watch. Green Bay Packers 27, New England Patriots 20. Always love seeing the Patriots get a loss. Jordan Love of the Packers had two touchdowns, and the defense for the Packers closed it out in good fashion. Buffalo 29, Tennessee Titans 26. Josh Allen had a late drive, and they locked in a game-winning field goal. It's crazy to watch the Bills compete against the Titans and not crush the Titans. The Titans just losing to the Raiders last week. The Bills historically being one of the best teams of the last 5 to 6 years. They should be running up people, but they seem to be struggling of late. Falcons 24, Buccaneers 21. Crazy to watch Baker Mayfield catch a L from the Falcons. The new kicker, Parker Romo, had a 47-yard winner for the Falcons. They released Young Hoku back in September 19th, so different kicker. Bengals 23, Steelers 17. Joe Burrow had 2 touchdowns since he's back to a 500 record. 49ers 30, Cardinals 16. McCaffrey had 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're looking more balanced, and McCaffrey set a record for the 49ers. Detroit Lions 28, the Bears 10. Jared Goff 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Detroit was looking absolutely dominant. They are another one of the best teams in the NFL. Saints 20, Baltimore Ravens 17. I almost said Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not in the league anymore. Saints barely scratching out the dub, 20-17. I'm forgetting who the quarterback is right now, but I do know that the Ravens are going backwards, and that is a tough one. Tonight on Monday Night Football, we've got the Texans and Seahawks, CJ Stroud versus the Seattle secondary as well. It should be a good game. I don't, as somebody who's always talked mad shit about the Seahawks, I don't have high expectations for this year, but they also are quietly one of the better teams in the NFL. And so big shout out to them. Now, last but not least, folks, the Raiders, 0. The Chiefs, 31. Let's talk about some of the key points in the game. Patrick Mahomes, 22 of 31, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns. They literally benched him and pulled him his ass out the game. In the fourth quarter. I don't think he played a series in the fourth quarter. He might have, but I don't remember. Pacheco, 112 yards plus a touchdown. I believe he had 2 touchdowns. I could be mistaken. It was incredible. KC's first shutout since 2018. The defense have allowed less than 11 points per game over the last 2 weeks. The Raiders offense had less than 220 total yards. They had 2 turnovers and 0 answers for Patty Mahomes, Isaac Pacheco, and the Chiefs. And I would also say Chris Jones and the defensive line there of the Chiefs absolutely bullied, picked on, pushed around, annihilated the Raiders' offensive line. It was a joke. The Chiefs' balance and their defensive discipline keeps them atop of the AFC West. The Vegas offense, aka the Raiders' offense, has no rhythm. The coaching, the play calling, the execution is all under fire. To quote ChatGPT, the Chiefs didn't just win. They're making a statement. They're planting seeds that will be grown later in the season when they catch a major momentum swing. And KC covered their -6.5 split with a total under of 41. It was wow. Now, my take, is the Raiders season over? Is the Raiders season over? It's not. But right now, they are, I want to say 2-5. I believe they're 2-5. It's hard to come back. It's hard to come back. But you can go 11. You can go 12-5. We got 17 games now. You can go 11-6. You can go 10-7. Now, I don't know if the AFC West is going to allow for the Raiders to have those kinds of records and get into the playoffs. We obviously have Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs leading the pack, and then you've got the LA Chargers doing their thing. So you have to ask yourself the question, is there enough time to turn it back around? Is there enough games? You have to ask yourself, do the Raiders have enough talent? Will injuries ultimately be one of the deciding focal factors in the final record for this season? And so before I get any further and go into this next segment, I'm going to hit this joint. And I'm going to say Max Crosby's injured. We got a bye week this week. He's injured right now. We lost Myers in this last week of practice. Best receiver. We still don't have Brock Byers. We're not even really given a strong timeline yet. The number 1 tight end in the NFL, we have no timeline on when he's coming back. It's tough. It's looking rough for the Raiders. I hope we don't end the season on a 4, 5, or 6 win, final record. But if it would be great if over the next 9 games we were able to get 5, 6 wins and come out of the season with 500 or very close to 500. And that would be very positive for the Raiders. Now, I just want to shout out all you guys for hanging out and watching. I'm Joey, Respect My Region. This segment is the NFL week 7 update brought to you guys by livehappy.com. Not everyone's living happy, but for those of you that are, the way you can live happier is by going to livehappy.com and using that code RespectMyRegion20 and ordering some of that delicious hemp THC seltzer that they've got for sale over there. They've got a couple different flavors, and I promise you it's delicious. Now, as we proceed to the next segment of today's show, Major League Baseball. All right. Deep dive postseason. The NLCS, the National League Championship Series, the Dodgers just swept the Milwaukee Brewers. And let's be honest, it wasn't even close. They had a chance. They were in the games. But ultimately, too much hitting, too much pitching, too much momentum, too much Dodgers. And there's one word that really defines the Dodgers. Ohtani. He's a god. He's a baseball god. Through this stage in his career, he has identical stats to the legendary, iconic Babe Ruth. Pitching, hitting. It's insane. Ohtani had 3 home runs back to back to back. 1 home run, 2 home runs, 3 home runs in 3 at-bats in Game 4 of the Dodgers versus the Brewers. He threw 6 shutout scoreless innings. He pitched. He threw 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, 97-mile-an-hour, sliders, changeups, splitters. He threw them. This guy's got 4, 5, 6 pitches. He threw them. 6 innings. No scores on him. I'll smoke to that. Ohtani is the best athlete in any sport right now. There's nobody else more on top of their game than Shohei Ohtani. There's nobody else more impressive. He just had surgery and lost last season. Couldn't pitch all last season because he had surgery. He comes back out. He has an incredible season pitching this year after only hitting last year. He had 50-plus home runs again this year. Pitching again. He won MVP. It's insane. And that's not to mention the other players. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. It's insane to watch this. The opponent's on-base percentage, .408. It's just dominating. The starters of the Dodgers are eating innings. They're just eating them out. They're pitching all the way through. They're going the distance. There's that other Dodgers pitcher, I want to say Yamamoto. Absolutely incredible. I watched him pitch like 9 innings the other day. Fucking crazy, start to finish. Ohtani lets the Dodgers play chess while others are playing checkers. And the Dodgers are looking to be the first repeat champs since the 1999-2000 Yankees. They just swept the Brewers. They weren't even one of the best teams in baseball the whole season. In fact, the end of the year, they caught a streak, and then they've kept that momentum going through the playoffs. But they did not have the best record. They weren't looking like the best team in baseball. And so it's absolutely incredible to show what good defense, pitching, paired with the right players for hitting and how that can do. And ultimately, pitching and the importance there in terms of your starters and then your bullpen and your closers and all these different things, they really matter. And you got to stack up players. You got to stack them up. Offensively, defensively, you got to stack them. You got to have them. I don't want to hear this excuse about budgets. Oh, the Dodgers this, the Dodgers that, and their budgets. The Yankees ain't here. It's the Toronto Blue Jays and the Mariners in the ALCS. It ain't the same billion-dollar teams as usual. Just the Dodgers right now. They're going to get into the World Series, and they're going to be rested because they swept the Brewers. You know what I'm saying? Rested. Blue Jays and Mariners playing Game 7 tonight. They're going to be rested against those two teams. Whoever wins that, Dodgers are going to be rested against them. It's going to be crazy. My pick, and I grew up in Seattle. I watched the playoffs in 2001, Dan Wilson, Ichiro, Edgar. I watched that. I watched them. We were, you know what I'm saying? That was life back then. You wake up, you watch the highlights, you stay up late trying to watch Ichiro break the records. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna go in place facing the World Series reigning world champion off of rest. And now that lets us get into the ALCS. The Blue Jays versus Mariners, Game 7 tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, 5 p.m. Western Time. Toronto won Game 6, 6-2. Addison Barger had 3 RBIs. Vlad Jr. ties the team record. He had another home run. The Mariners committed 3 errors. The gentleman who hit the home run the other day that won the game for the Mariners, that crazy at bat, he actually committed, I want to say, 2 errors pretty early in the game, and that gave the Blue Jays a solid 2-0 lead. Seattle's bullpen versus the Toronto's gap power lineup, it's tough. Seattle's bullpen and their starters, they look like sometimes they're struggling. It's because they look young. The Mariners pitchers look young. It looks like they're clawing and fighting for it. You know what I'm saying? And with Game 7 being tonight, they got the home field advantage going to Toronto. Blue Jays fans are going to create a crazy loud environment. The pitching duel to watch is Luis Castillo versus Kevin Gausman. So Seattle's Castillo, Toronto's Gausman. Both of them have an ERA under 3.5. So it's going to be a duel. Historically, Toronto hasn't won a pennant since 1993, and Seattle is still chasing its first ever World Series booth. You guys imagine that? Isn't that crazy to think? Seattle Mariners never ever been to the World Series. They've never been. Never even been in it once. When they got to the playoffs before, they lost to the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, that 2001 era, that time frame I was just talking about. They lost to the Yankees back then. It was an era. You know what I'm saying? The reality is, though, is that the winner of this game, the ALCS, whoever wins between the Blue Jays and the Mariners, they're going to face a well-rested Dodgers team. It's either going to be redemption for Canada tonight or history for Seattle. And they're going to go to one of them is going to go to the World Series. My pick, obviously, Seattle. Let's go, Mariners! Let's go! Seattle in the building. We're so fucking close. Knock on wood. We need all the luck, all the karma. We need our pitchers to dominate, and we need our hitters to strategically play to their full potential. Play free, without stress and energy, because it's a blessing to be there in the first place. You guys imagine everything you do today can get you to the World Series? Isn't that nuts to think about? And that's what these guys are at right now. Their family, their friends, everybody that's ever supported them, World Series. It's really cool when you think about it. My take, Seattle's going to win this game. Seattle versus Dodgers in the World Series. It's going to be crazy. I ultimately think the Dodgers are going to win in less than 6 games in terms of the World Series. I would be hard-pressed to find any other team that can compete with all those hitters and also deal with Shohei pitching and the other Japanese gentlemen pitching and the closers that they have. It's Clayton Kershaw. It's a lot. There's a lot going on with the Dodgers. Now, guys, as we transition to the next segment on today's show, I want to take a moment to again shout out our sponsors for this episode. This episode of RMR Game Day and the Breakdown is brought to you guys by Drink Triple. Make sure you guys visit their website, try out their hemp lemonades, their hemp seltzers. They are delicious. And also to visit livehappy.com and use code RespectMyRegion20 for a discount and free shipping. The NBA opening week is this week, folks. This is a big news. I'm a huge basketball fan. I ref basketball for about a decade, and I absolutely love basketball. Although being from Seattle, no Sonics, those are the OKC Thunder. We can't support that. But they're the reigning NBA champion. Shout out to their team. Shout out to Shea, Gilchrist-Alexander, and the entire team over there at OKC. But that ain't the Sonics. So we've got tip-off Tuesday night. Tuesday night. One of the shortest off seasons ever. Preseason's already done. We've been watching Luka. We've been watching Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", for the freak from France. Zion Williamson is back. They saying that he's finally fit. Pelicans are hoping for a 70-game season from him. There's 82 in a regular season. They're only hoping for 70. Joel Embiid, MVP form. If minutes stay above 30 per night, we'll see if his knees can handle 30 minutes per night. Power rankings for the NBA. The Thunder are plus 185. They're favored big. And then you've got the Nuggets, Knicks, and Cavs after that. Some of the dark horses of the NBA 2025-2026 season. The Rockets and the Magic are both young, athletic, and stacked with shooting and length, with the Rockets also getting Kevin Durant on the team recently. It's going to be exciting to watch him and Sengun do their thing. LeBron is in year, I want to say he's in year 23. I think that could be off a year. How much gas does he really have left? Everyone thought his Instagram post about the decision 2 was going to be about him retiring. And then the next day he posted it. It was a Hennessy ad. He got us. The reality, though, is he was looking old in that ad. He straight up started. It was the first time when you really looked at him that his face and his head and everything looked like he was not Unc, like he was the OG grandpa. And it like those old commercials back in the day with Kyrie, you know? And it was crazy to think that LeBron has played this many years and has been this dominant for this long. And we applaud that. And in fact, I'm going to smoke to that. Will this be his final showdown with everybody? Will he have the tour like Kobe did? RIP. The reality, though, is in the NBA, folks, is that health is the new super team. If you guys can have your best players be around more than other teams' best players, and you can have strong depth, meaning you can have really strong, consistent players on the bench and rotational players for when load management starts to really have an impact on the season later in the year and also in the middle of the year. Health is the new super team. So I would bet on teams that have a historical consistency, historical proof that their teams will stay healthy. High ceiling versus reliable. Zion Williamson, always high upside. Remember him? The next LeBron, they said. This guy's barely played in the league since he's got in the league. Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", huge defensively, shooting, dribbling. Kevin Durant on stilts. He's a bucket. He's pretty much a certified bucket at this point. How do you stop him? They have high upside, but they have high risk. There's a high ceiling for them. So do you pick that or do you pick the reliable? Teams like Boston, teams like the Denver Nuggets, right? The Celtics and Nuggets have consistency. They've proven that. The Lakers, we know what we're going to get with the Lakers and LeBron. Although it's a new team with Luka, you know what you're going to get with Luka. Reliable. You've got some new faces in terms of coaches across the league. Becky Hammond, Tyrone Lue. 2 coaches that I really recommend you guys watch. Pay attention to this year. JJ Redick. Not a coaching carousel with him. But how do the Lakers respond, react with Luka? How do they mesh and continue merging into the lane that they want to go in and to take for the majority of this season? In terms of betting on the NBA, I think it's important for you guys to lean under in the early weeks because defenses are going to be behind the ball. They're going to be behind the pace. So if you think the offensive team's going to do their thing, it might be smart. The prop markets are on the blocks and rebounds for Wemby. That looks juicy. That's a real thing. All right. I think it's important to remember that the defense the defenses on these various teams early in the year tend to look a little sluggish while people get their feet underneath them. You know? But ultimately, guys, this is a huge pivot year. The post LeBron era, very soon. It'll begin very soon. You've got Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler over there in Golden State. You've still got Draymond on that team. They look at that like it's a big three. Jimmy Butler is somebody who can handle the offense when Steph Curry is off the court, a go-to basketball player. I don't know, though. He's 36 years old. He's about to be 37. Can he handle the load night in and night out? We've seen Jimmy Butler run out of gas in playoffs and in the regular season, and then again in the playoffs. Just looking straight up flat. Granted, he's had a lot going on over the last few years. Family, the trades, the disrespect, trying to just live a version of his life authentically. And I support him in that journey. But we will soon be in a post-LeBron, post-Steph Curry, and a post-Kevin Durant era. And it will be interesting to see who takes over after them. Basketball's back, baby. And this year feels like a passing of the torch type of season. This is going to be one of those defining seasons. It's going to be crazy. Now, as we continue, folks, big shout out to our sponsors again on this episode. They're going to get a lot of love. LiveHappy.com, Respect My Region 20 is the code. Save 20% off and get free shipping on all Happy THC seltzers over there on that LiveHappy.com website. That's happy with HAPPIE. All right. DrinkTriple.com. Go visit their website. I believe our code is, well, we have a link for that. I'll drop it in the comments or in the description for y'all for that. But we got a link for that. Click that link. Go buy something. It's delicious. The lemonade's smack. The Arnold Palmer, delicious. Not over-sweetened. The seltzer's delicious too. Now, this show originally started the breakdown by me breaking down fighting things. UFC was the focus at the time. And we just like to pivot the breakdown based on whatever sport's most relevant, whatever's got the biggest story. This week we had UFC in Vancouver. The main card, Brendan Allen defeated Rainier de Ritter, round 4 TKO, corner stoppage. The co-main card, Mike Malott, Udi over decision over Kevin Holland. 2 low blow calls kind of definitely were of debate during that fight for sure. Feature, let's see if I can say it, Aman Zahabi over Chito Vera, crowd split. The Allen short notice win rockets him to top 5. When you get a short notice fight and then you win that fight, your ranking's going to change. That's just how that works. For those of you that don't understand UFC, short notice fights happen pretty frequently. They get hurt, something happens, legal, health-wise, family-wise, whatever. You switch in another fighter. They tend to be of somewhat similar caliber in terms of ranking or skill or whatever it is. They either have the ability to say no or yes. Oftentimes, these fighters have a lot of pride. They'll go in and take the fight. Canadian fighters on the card yesterday were 3-1 overall, which is huge for their regional MMA scene. All right. Holland's future at 170 pounds is in question. Next up, we've got UFC Abu Dhabi, Islam Makhachev versus Justin Gaethje as the headline for this next Saturday. Vancouver clearly brought the energy, and Canada proved it's definitely a fighting country. Vancouver, Canada. UFC Canada. Up next, UFC Abu Dhabi. I love the international fighting. It's dope. I think sports is a great way to keep our countries just connected. Not just Abu Dhabi's and where in one specific place. There's like all the different international places. I think it's absolutely incredible. Now, wrapping up the show, folks, week 7 of the NFL reminded us that nothing is guaranteed. The Raiders collapse, the Broncos resurgence, Saints, Falcons getting unexpected wins, the Bills with the walk-off field goal. You just never know what's going to happen week over week in the NFL, and that's what makes it so exciting. We recently had the Dodgers crowned as the National League Championship Series title. They're going to be in the World Series. But tonight it's all about the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Toronto versus Seattle. Baseball crowns its American League champion tonight. The winner goes to the World Series. Tip off for the NBA and the new season, 2025-2026 NBA season starts tomorrow. Be sure to tap in. The games are going to be great. Fighting next week, or this week, Saturday, heads to Abu Dhabi. So be sure, folks, it's a great week in sports. It's a great life that we live, and it's exciting. Now, this show, folks, is sponsored by livehappy.com and drinktriple.com. From kickoff to knockout, they've got you covered. Be sure to reach out, tap in if you have any questions. Hit respectmyregion.com for all the latest sports, music, and culture. And this show, folks, discusses sports betting and odds strictly for entertainment and informational purposes. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER for free confidential help. Respect My Region and I, Joey Brabo, do not promote or encourage illegal betting. Know your local laws before placing any wagers. All right? I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm Joey Brabo, and this was the RMR Game Day Breakdown. See you guys next week for Week 8 of the NFL, World Series coverage, and the first week of the 2025-2026 NBA season. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next episode.